What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel only if you want to. But look, my beautiful people, we got this top 10 messed up treatments doctors lied about. You feel me? Look, there's a lot of things that they do lie about. It's a lot of things that we don't know until it's already too late, people. Some of us have already been taking medication since we can remember. Then all of a sudden you get that commercial and then list everything that's gonna kill you about that medication. And you have all these symptoms like, oh, you can sue for this much money. It's crazy. That's why I like to do things the natural way. If I don't have to get surgery, I'm not. You feel me? That's just how I am. But look, just let me know some of y'all stories in the comments down below. Let's get into this video. Let's make sure we run this video to like 10,000 likes, man. And make sure you put them notifications on always. I can see you. Don't comment and you ain't got the notifications on always. You exposing yourself. But look, let's get into this video. Hopefully you're having a good day, because if you're not on this channel, you're going to have a good day. Good vibes over here always. Let's get it.
Ideas to wandering wombs. Today's list covers a bunch of things we only hope never happen to us. Welcome back, most amazing fam. I'm your host, Rachel Fisher, and join me as we count down our top 10 list of messed up treatments doctors lied about. Let's get going. Number 10, Hysteria. I've been waiting a long time to talk about this. Okay, so technically the treatment ended up being a good thing, but it was more the condition they lied about. As a hint to where this is going, hysteria comes from the Greek word hystera, which means uterus. By the end of the 19th century, 75% of women in America were diagnosed with hysteria. It was a term to describe a condition where an excess of emotion led to an out-of-control behavior. Symptoms included shortness of breath, anxiety, forwardness, irritability, agitation, insomnia, and even sometimes hallucinations. So, in other words, a very, very bad mood. One of the treatments used to remedy this were pelvic massages to achieve a hysterical paroxysm in order to stabilize and de-stress the patient. In today's terms, we call that an orgasm, which was something hysterical women didn't get a lot of, or women around that time in general. Pelvic massages have been performed as early as ancient Greece to cure the wandering womb, a fictitious condition where women's wombs were autonomous and would wander into their shoulder, for example, making it sore. The treatment was so popular, doctors finally thought it was time to invent a device who could do it for them. So they invented a device that vibrated in a particularly efficient way to achieve the result. The device remains very popular today, but the term hysteria has been debunked as an umbrella term to describe a multitude of actual disorders and conditions. Number 9.
That shit, look, I'm sorry, bro. I had to laugh through the whole thing. I didn't know it was going to go that far. I already had the joke prepared in my mind when they already had set it up for me, but I can't even say nothing. We just going to have to laugh our way through that one. That is hilarious.
The placebo effect. The mind is a powerful thing. It can tell you something is really wrong, or it can lie to you, which is one of the reasons why doctors sometimes prescribe placebos. They take advantage of the power of suggestion. In a study for the journal PLOS One, out of 783 doctors, of which 71% were registered with the UK's General Medicine Council, 97% said that they had used substances or methods that lacked therapeutic value, aka they prescribed placebos. Only a tenth said that they were actually upfront about it, but half said that the therapy helped many other patients. Some placebos included vitamin C for cancer, saline injections, and sugar pills. The effectiveness of placebos, if it is a psychological issue, only works as well as the patient believes it will. But bottom line, prescribing something that you know has actually no value is unethical. One of the worst cases actually happened recently. An anti-vax German nurse gave over 8,000 people saline instead of the vaccine to give them a false sense of immunity because they just didn't believe in it. Number 8.
Are you serious?
Men.
They can do that.
Everybody wants a quick fix, but they are rarely ever real. The first diet pill hit the market in the late 1800s, and today the weight loss industry is valued at over $60 billion, with a large portion of that being mainly diet pills. The only two known appetite suppressants were fenfluramine and phentermine, but they didn't prove to be largely effective. However, one doctor, Michael Van Traub, decided to combine them and make a new miracle weight loss drug in the 1970s called Fenfen. At first, it appeared to work wonders. A single study of 120 patients over 4 years terrible study size, just saying, saw the majority of female patients lose an average of 30 pounds. There were apparently no side effects, but no one was actually studying their hearts. It was introduced in 1992 and it swept the nation. After a rough debate, the FDA approved it, but in 1996, things went bad. Almost like perfect timing. 24 women taking the pills developed serious heart problems, and soon hundreds more were reported. Because of this severe oversight, the American Home and Products Corporation, inventors of Fenfen, had to pay $3.75 billion settlement. 50,000 more settlement cases were filed. So much for a quick fix, eh?
Hey, that shit crazy though, cause you gotta think, bro. Like, all that damn money they had to give up though. Just think about how much they made before they had to pay that shit back, and then these people can't get a heart back. You feel me? They can get in line and they're in a better position because they got this settlement or whatever. But bro, that ain't gonna get you your heart back.
7. Radium. I learned about this recently through a series of lists, and I still can't believe it.
Right.
Radium is a radioactive substance that we know now can cause a series of life-threatening complications after repeated exposure. But in the late 19th and early 20th century, this stuff was used for everything. From skincare to toothpaste and water, this stuff was put in everything.
Man, maybe they should start putting that in vagina so we can stop having all this overpopulation, all these people having all these kids. Whatever is in that jar, start putting it in some vagina, man. Like, that'll help.
From as early as 1896, the effects radium had against cancer were noticed, but soon it became a cure-all for most things like diabetes, rheumatism, and even impotence. As a result, a massive radium industry in the 1920s boomed, and soon you could find it on every shelf in the pharmacy.
What is it?
It was even recommended to drink a glass of water with radium in it because it was good for your health.
Radium.
But then people started to notice some pretty serious side effects, such as, I don't know, organs failing, muscle and bone deterioration. You know, all the things radioactive exposure does to a person. The period lasted for 25 years, but by the time World War II hit, the product was considered dangerous. Can I say doctors lied about it if they didn't really know the full effects of the material? Not quite, but at the same time,
hell yeah, they
prescribing
lied.
something they didn't quite understand doesn't sound very truthful, does it? Number 6, the starvation doctor. Got a cold? Starve yourself. Got depression? Starve yourself. Got cancer? Yeah, don't eat food. Sounds ridiculous, right? Good. Because it is. But to Linda Burfield Hazard, it was the most sensible treatment one could do. Once she gained her medical license through a loophole, Linda preached that strict fasting was the only cure for disease. In her novels Fasting for the Cure of Disease and Scientific Fasting, the Ancient and Modern Key to Health.
No. Run that shit back. They said through a loophole. She got her... You got some doctors out here that just got their shit from a loophole? Oh, I'm blown. See, this is, man, look, man, believe in yourselves out here, man.
She spread her pseudo-scientific message wherever anyone would listen. She believed that all illnesses were a result of excess eating and that you had to starve yourself for months to stave off disease. Crazy. So she created her own sanitarium where she would only allow patients to drink tomato juice, asparagus juice, and sometimes a teaspoon of orange juice. Ridiculous. Once patients were in her care, if they tried to leave, she would have them declared insane. After 40 patients died, she was finally convicted of manslaughter in 1912 and was sentenced to hard labor. But for some reason, she was pardoned after 2 years. Then she moved to New Zealand and started to practice there, but her license was revoked because of lack of credentials. Moral of the story, if someone tells you to starve yourself, make them watch you eat a burrito and smile. Number 5, lobotomies. Of course this was going to be on the list.
Bro, she killed mad people and she still got to live her life like that, just manipulating people doing this. That's crazy.
The miracle procedure invented by Walter Freeman. Finally, there was a way to alleviate the pain and distress of the mentally and emotionally tormented by turning them into vegetables. So not really curing it at all. Freeman was an absolute crook of a doctor, though he wasn't seen as one at the time. He developed what was known as the prefrontal lobotomy, a procedure that involved removing a section of the brain.
I heard about that.
Early versions involved drilling into the brain, but the new version involved an ice pick through the eye. He would sometimes even use the one he found in his kitchen. Delightful. Freeman's procedure left thousands of patients incapacitated, including one very famous Rosemary Kennedy, the sister of the future president. More than 15% of his patients died.
Didn't know that.
One during a live broadcast.
Wow.
Despite this, hospitals willingly let him showcase and perform the procedure, which blows my mind. Freeman was more of a showman than he was a doctor. He drove around in a car he called the Lobotomobile, and then he just performed lobotomies wherever he wanted to. Finally, in 1967, he performed his last surgery on a woman in Berkeley, California. He severed a blood vessel, and she died, thus ending his deceptive brain-hacking miracle. Number 4.
All these people he was killing on the way, and they still had him doing this, bro. Like, that don't make no sense, bro. Like, well, it does. It does. It does. It does. It's only one type of person that can get away with some shit like that. I'll keep going.
Yes, sir, Awad. Okay. Gets crazy from here. This one happened back in 2003. When Maria Martinez was just 10 years old, she started having headaches so severe she had to isolate herself away from the light. So she went to a doctor. Yes sir, Awad, a pediatric neurologist. He sent her to have an EEG, and Awad came to the conclusion that she was having seizures. Though she had no convulsions, he told her that they were absent seizures, which mostly featured a person kind of mentally checking out, so every time she daydreamed, she thought she was having a seizure. Very subtle, but they do exist. He prescribed her a medication called Lamictal, though after several months on the medication, her condition got worse, so he doubled the dose. Skip ahead 4 years, Martinez gets a second opinion after Awad left his practice. Finds out the whole thing was a lie and that the medication actually causes headaches. She never had seizures. Awad was doing it so he could get more money. She was one of hundreds of patients that Awad intentionally misled. Her case was the first to go on trial and shed a massive light on hospital fraud. Number 3, opioids. The opioid crisis remains one of the most devastating pharmaceutical deceptions in history. The Sackler family and their company Purdue Pharma developed a new miracle drug called oxycodone that...
Look at his ass. He looked like somebody that's trying to invent something that can cure aging. That's what he's here for. For real. You know he trying to goddamn cure that shit. Look at him.
It swept the nation. It was a revolutionary new painkiller that could help patients all over the place, and that it did. The Sackler family racked in $35 billion in sales of the drug. But there was a catch, as there always is. Oxycodone contains oxycodone, a relative to heroin, aka the dragon, which made it 2 times more powerful than morphine. But just as addictive. But Purdue launched a campaign to intentionally mislead their audience in 1996 that said that Oxycontin was safe. Their catchphrase? Oxycontin, the drug to start with and to stay with. But of course, the phrase had deadly consequences. Since 1999, 200,000 people have died due to Oxycontin overdoses. Number 2, Jayant Patel. Next up, we have the man known as Dr. Death. Jayant Patel worked in both Australia and the USA and was apparently obsessed with putting people under the knife. He lied about his knowledge and competence and would often perform unnecessary surgeries on people who weren't even his patients. His lies led to the deaths of over 87 people. He was the worst combination of arrogant and stupid. He even performed a colonoscopy backwards. How do you do that?
How?
Beyond the actual surgeries, he would forge the documents pre- and post-surgery. It took a strangely long amount of time for him to be caught, even with fellow surgeons calling him out. But finally, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison, but was sadly released. I hate this. But was sadly released 3.5 years after because he had good behavior.
How?
Great. Never mind that he killed so many people.
This man killed so many people and he just get off like that, you know? Like, that's crazy as hell.
The thing that makes me the most angry about this case is that he wasn't the only one who lied. Both of the hospitals he worked at let him perform with dodgy and thin credentials, which means they share the responsibility for those deaths as well. And last but not least, number 1, trial by trachea. Though lab-grown organs are slowly becoming reality, it appears they remain too good to be true. Unless you're Paolo Macchiarini, who continues to evade criticism surrounding his artificially grown trachea treatment. In 2011, Paolo shocked the world when he performed the world's first synthetic organ transplant. He replaced a patient's trachea with a plastic tube made perfectly for him. The surgeon gained worldwide fame, so much fame that even his hospital dismissed notions that the medical miracle man wasn't up to snuff. A couple Medical investigations discovered that the foundation for the procedure was weak and that risk analysis wasn't carried out thoroughly. Out of 9 patients, 7 of them have passed away, but the questions surrounding Paolo mostly criticizes the things that happened prior to surgery. Were the patients ill enough that they required such drastic intervention, or was Paolo too eager to gain attention? I'm endlessly appreciative of the work doctors and nurses do. They are freaking heroes.
But hold on, that's crazy though. That's crazy. All those patients died, bro. Just because he wanted to goddamn make himself famous and put a plastic tube in somebody's damn trachea. That shit ain't gonna go together. They're gonna suffocate because that's gonna collapse. Something's gonna happen. That's not a moving part of the body that's supposed to be in there like that. You know, that plastic, that ain't gonna be it. But that's crazy to me. Let me know, bro. Like, if y'all heard of any other procedures that's just like outrageous and crazy out here. Y'all gotta be hip and know what's going on with your body and your health, but definitely take care of yourself. But look, make sure y'all take care of yourself and y'all family. Tell somebody that y'all love them, man, for real, before it's too late. But like I always say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. See you on the next video. And I'm out, though. Blah.